Hello, lower school. Today we are doing a fall or autumn still life. A still life is a drawing or a painting of fruits or vegetables or flowers in a vase, things that an artist puts together, looks at, and draws. We're going to use our imaginations today, and we are going to be making some pumpkins in honor of the season. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so first thing you need to do is pick out your colors. I picked out all these colors, some greens, some brown, orange, yellow, and then some darker oranges because I want to keep the colors fall themed. And these are all colors that you would see during the autumn or the fall because the leaves are changing color. And then I just got some bigger, wider markers as well. And then my pen. You guys are going to be using pencils to draw, and pencils are easier to draw with because you can fix mistakes if you make any mistakes. So make sure that you're drawing lightly, so if you do accidentally make a mistake that you can erase it. So when you're drawing your pumpkins, and you're gonna want them in the middle of your paper, so I'm gonna draw my first pumpkin in the middle. So I'm gonna draw a oval shape. And pumpkins grow in fields and gardens. And when they grow, they don't grow into perfect circles. So anything in nature, it's not going to be a perfect circle. So it's okay if it's a little bit wobbly or one side is bigger than the other, okay? All right, so for my pumpkin, I'm going to make a big circle. And then I'm going to add two other pumpkins on each side. So I'm going to add a smaller pumpkin here. Just another circle shape. And then next to it, I'm going to do another pumpkin. But if I want my other pumpkin to be behind the bigger one, I'm just going to draw part of it. And it's going to be behind the pumpkin that we drew in the middle. And that's called overlapping, okay? All right, so we don't want these pumpkins to float away into space. We got to give it a ground to sit on, or a table, or wherever your pumpkins are sitting. So behind my pumpkins, I'm going to make a line. And that could be for the table, it could be for the ground, whatever your picture is depicting. So let's see, I'm going to draw my line here. I'm going to stop. I'm not going through my pumpkins because you can't see that line. And then I'll draw a little line here, and then another line going back over here. So anytime you draw something, make sure you put a line behind it so that it looks like everything is grounded and not going to fly away or float away into space. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to think about how we're going to color our pumpkins in. And I was thinking it would be fun to do some scribble drawing. So I have my pumpkins, I have my lines, and now to add color, I'm going to use scribbles to add the color. And the scribbles are going to look very similar to the brush strokes or the lines that Vincent van Gogh made when he made the Starry Night, the picture that we talked about last time, okay? So it's going to look very similar to that painting, lots of lines. Okay, so what color are my pumpkins? Orange, and they don't need to be the same color orange. You can have more than one orange. So I'm gonna have a light orange, a dark orange, and then maybe I'll also add some yellow, okay? All right, and to color in my pumpkins, I'm gonna take my marker, and I said it was gonna be scribble coloring. So I'm gonna make some scribbles. And it's okay if the scribbles go outside of the pumpkin. And I'm actually gonna do all of my pumpkins. And if you don't like scribbling, you don't have to scribble. You could just color it all in regular. But to give it that look with lots of lines, I'm gonna scribble. So scribble away. Okay, so my pumpkins are colored in with a little bit of orange. I'm gonna take my darker orange now, and I'm gonna scribble on top of that. And when you're coloring things in, you can use more than one color. And when you scribble, you can see all the different colors. You can do big scribbles or little scribbles. All right, and then I'm even gonna take some yellow, and I'm gonna do a little scribbling in there too. Okay, and around my pumpkins, I want to make this like a table, like a brown table. So I'm going to take my brown marker and I'm going to do scribbling from this line that we drew right here all the way down. So you can do big scribbles, all the way around. And it's actually pretty fun. And the more scribbles you have, the better it's going to look. Vincent van Gogh didn't only paint the Starry Night, he also made still lifes like we're making today. And he made vases of sunflowers. And we'll take a look at those next week when we make our sunflower pictures. Okay. Just make a few smaller scribbles. Perfect. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to show some shadow in my pumpkins. And the shadow is always on the opposite side of where the light is coming from. So if I take my yellow marker and over here in the corner, I draw a sun, just a circle. That's where my light is going to be coming from. And then to make the shadows, I'm going to take a dark orange and I'm going to make some scribbles with the dark orange. Oops, dropped my cap. On the opposite side of each pumpkin. So if the light is shining this way, where are my shadows going to be? So if the light is hitting this side of the pumpkin, this side of the pumpkin, and this side of the pumpkin, the shadows are going to be over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dark orange and on each side of the pumpkin, just on these sides, is make really dark squiggles. And that's going to make it look like my pumpkins are 3D or three-dimensional. It's like a trick the artists use, and it's called shading. So this is some advanced stuff, but you guys got this. So I have my dark squiggles here, my dark squiggles and scribbles here, and then the same thing here. And I'm just doing that on one side because the light is hitting this side and these parts of the pumpkins are going to be a little bit darker or in shadow. And notice I'm not using black, I'm just using a darker orange. And that looks awesome. All right. And then maybe I'll take a little bit of lighter orange, just do a few more squiggles in there. If you want to draw some lines, because pumpkins have those lines in them, or that line texture, so I can draw some of those lines too if I want. All right, what are my pumpkins missing? Right now they kind of look like oranges. So what could I do to make it look more like a pumpkin? You can add the stem. When pumpkins grow in the ground, they grow on a vine, and attached to the vine is a stem. So on the top of each pumpkin, you're going to draw lines that stick up, out like this. So straight lines that stick out. And you can also take a darker brown, if you have a darker brown, I do, and do some dark and light brown lines. And sometimes the top of the pumpkins have a curly Q, like that. So maybe I'll add that. Okay. And then, after you're done doing that, I want to add a little bit of shadow and shading underneath my pumpkins. So I'm going to take my dark brown, and underneath my pumpkins, I'm going to do some dark brown scribbles. And that's going to give your picture some more shadows. Again, I'm not using black, I'm just using a dark brown. Perfect. Not all over the place, just underneath the pumpkins. Perfect. This is looking so good. And then maybe I want to make because I feel like I want this to be darker around it, I'll make some more circles and scribbles underneath. Just to kind of blend it in. And then when you're done with that, you have your pumpkins. If you wanted to get really fancy and you celebrate Halloween and you wanted to add some faces to these pumpkins, you could definitely do that. You could do that with a black marker. So say I want to make this one into my jack-o'-lantern. I can draw some eyes. So what shape could the eyes be? Circles. So I'm going to make some circles, and I'll just do a scribble. And then a scribble here, so for the 2 eyes. And then a mini scribble for the nose. And then for the mouth, I'm going to have a smiling pumpkin. I want it to be happy. So I'm going to draw a U shape like this. And then maybe some lines like this. And then if I want to make my mouth open, I can make another line go underneath. And then I can scribble it in to give it a smile. You can also add eyebrows if it has some friends. So maybe this pumpkin is looking over at this pumpkin. Draw another nose. And then over here, I'll just leave that pumpkin plain, just to show you what it would look like if it had faces. If you wanted to add other fall things like leaves, you could also do that. So in the background, maybe there's some trees. So I could do some red squiggles for some trees in the background. And then maybe I'll do some green. And again, if you don't want to add the trees, you don't have to. And then maybe some darker green, because the leaves are all changing different colors on the trees. So if you look outside right now, the leaves are starting to change color, and they're really pretty. Okay, and then maybe we'll do some yellow. So you notice I have some skinny markers and some wider markers. So you can use different thicknesses to get different types of lines. And again, I'm still using those scribble lines. Let me see, maybe some more orange. Oh yeah, that's really looking really good. I cannot wait to see your pumpkins when you finish. Please have your teachers share them with me. I cannot wait. You guys have been doing a great job so far. All right, thank you so much for joining me for art. See you soon. Bye.